Hey, good morning, world. You're in the office with Joseph Skoda. Hey, you like my office? Looks like I'm in a prison sometimes. But that's not true. What I like about here is plain and clear and able to entertain my guests. It's a little bit better. Today we have our guest is Tracey Walker, entrepreneur, I believe a realtor, I believe has several degrees, a lot of other things around the world. But Tracey, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Joseph. It's definitely a pleasure to be here. How are you?
I'm doing great. If I'm not mistaken, you live in Atlanta, Georgia. Is that right?
I
Or that
do.
area?
I live in Atlanta.
I spent a lot of time there in the military. I used to go to
Uh-huh.
Fort McPherson for training a lot. Even though I'm in the Air
Okay.
Force, I did a lot of training, but up and down Peachtree Street many a times. I really love that area. So once again, welcome to the show. I love it. I'm living in Pismo Beach, California right now.
Oh, good old Cali, Cali, Cali. How's the weather out there?
It's cold. It's 3 hours earlier than you, so it's cold in the morning for me. And I'm in my office. It's an old veterans building that's all concrete.
Or something like that, right? For a major Fortune 500 company. And I got a job here in Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta from Tallahassee, Florida, and worked for about a year or so. Then September the 11th happened. Now, when September the 11th happened, the company that I worked for was in the energy sector. All right. So I was a trader, but I traded like power, gas, coal, those types of things. Kind of on the lines of like an Enron type of company, but not the same type of company. Okay. Put it like
Sure.
that. So what happened was that sector was under a lot of scrutiny around that time. And after September the 11th, they went through around a series of layoffs. So in February of 2002, I was officially laid off. Now, the good thing was that I wanted to be laid off, Joseph. Now, most people aren't crazy like me, okay? But I was doing real estate on the side, all right? And my job was keeping me from doing that business full time, all right? So I was upset that I had to go to work because I would much rather work my real estate business. So when I got laid off, I took my severance pay and I took my Georgia unemployment, and I actually began to go full force with my real estate company. Okay. So that is how I transitioned out of corporate. I got laid off, and that was 2002, and I never went back. And so now we're what, 18
Something like that.
years down the road, and I have not punched the clock in 18 years.
I love that. I got my MBA in 2002, and then I became a realtor shortly after that. And I remember that September 11th. I was actually in Saudi Arabia at that time, and 2 weeks later in Afghanistan. So I remember that time very well. It's funny how events like that change our lives, even though we don't realize it's changing for the better sometimes. So
Yeah.
when you became a realtor, and I did okay in real estate, and what I found for myself is you can find someone the perfect house and they love it, and they get approved, they say yes, and the loan goes through. It might take you 2 to 3 months to get paid. So you had to consistently be on your game, and I wasn't doing that well. Even though my last commission check was $60,000, pretty
Nice.
good,
Yeah.
but that was very few in between, and it wasn't for me. So what gets you out of real
Yeah.
estate?
Well, just for clarification, I was actually an investor. Like, I was never a realtor, right? So we flipped homes. We flipped luxury homes that were distressed. In other words, the people were in pre-foreclosure. So we found properties that were like $1 million plus that had two mortgages on them. We would short sale the second mortgage down to like 10%. We would create the equity. We turn around and sell the house for under what it was worth and still make 80 grand off the deal, right? So that's what we love to do. What happened was that 2006 or 7, they changed all the rules, right? They just decided one day, we don't like these rules anymore. And probably because too many people were winning with the rules, right? And so they changed the rules midstream. And then if you do what you used to do last week, now you're going to jail for it, right? Now it's illegal to do it. You're going to, it's a federal crimes, all this stuff. So we had a lot of deals in our pipeline that had already been structured based on previous legal parameters that now we can't close them because the banks are under different, different scrutiny. The title companies, the closing attorneys, everybody is scared to death on, what's going to happen. So what happened was a lot of the deals kind of fell by the wayside. My own house that me and my ex-husband that we built went into pre-foreclosure itself. The irony, right? Like, we're helping people pre-foreclosure. We built our own house from the ground up, and now we are losing our house to foreclosure. But here's the deal. The blessing in it was that we weren't, it was brick and mortar, but we understood money enough to know we're not going to continue to throw good money after bad. The market in 2006 and 7, like the bubble just kind of burst, right? The value on my home I built was like $585,000. We built it, had an appraisal was $350, right? So why are we still paying mortgage on 5 something when it's only valued at 3 something? So we let the house go. We saved money that we were still generating from other things, and we moved to Atlanta, right? We moved to Atlanta, and we got a townhouse, and we pretty much paid the whole year lease up, right? So that we didn't have to worry about it, right? So we did that. Now, at that time, I was over it with real estate. I didn't want to. I didn't feel as excited anymore. So really, right, it kind of overlaps, but 2007, because I moved back to Atlanta in 2009, 2007, I started in home-based business, right, more network marketing. And I loved it. And why did I love it? Because everybody I knew at that time that was a realtor or in real estate or did mortgages or, were title people, everybody was looking for an additional stream of income. And we had I guess the network to share it with, right? So I didn't feel any type of way. I saw a network marketing presentation. I said, oh man, I could do that. All I do is talk about this product or this service. It's people in the room that I invite. And if they like it, they enroll or they buy the product. I'm like, that's way easier than what I'm doing in real estate. It's way easier, right?
Way easier.
So much easier, right? And over time, I could still make a lot of money, and it could be residual, which is what I didn't have in the real estate, right? I was not leasing property or renting property. We were flipping luxury homes. I'm like, I don't have the residual. I'd love to have that. And I started in 2007. So when we moved back down to Atlanta in 2009, I just kind of picked up and I ran with that. And that's kind of where, that's the sector I've been in, the vertical I've been in ever since 2007 up till now.
Wow, I think I met you in 2008, 2009 in Cancun, Mexico at a mastermind event where I was at my wit's end, and I put like my last dollar in to go to this trip and figure out what I was missing. And what I was missing, it wasn't a product, it wasn't a service, it was the network of people who are making things happen and helping others along the way. And that was some of my challenges where I thought I had to, I don't know, force feed and maybe beg people, chase people to get involved. And then I learned something that we call attraction marketing.
Yeah, attraction marketing.
A little bit about attraction marketing and what's that done for your business?
Oh, it's been great. I was just sitting here talking with some friends of mine literally about that. I mean, I'm not talking to them in terms of attraction marketing, but what it really is allowing you, the essence of you, to proceed or precede any product or service that you're selling, right? Ultimately, people are buying you. So instead of the idea of, let's think of like going door to door, right? Somebody does like a door-to-door salesman. What if you can get the people to come out of their house to you, right? Versus you go to them. That's the concept of attraction marketing. How can I present myself and what I offer and what I stand for, maybe what my products may help people with, but present myself in a way where people say, you know what, I want to learn more about that. And then they reach out to me, right? So that's essentially what attraction marketing is, and literally being able to put different marketing pieces, I like to call bait, essentially. I mean, it's kind of what it is. It's kind of crazy term, but it's bait. It's not bait and switch though, right? It's not bait and switch. It's bait. It's like you put this on the hook. If somebody's looking to lose weight, somebody wants to get out of pain, I talk about how somebody else has already done that, how this particular product has helped them to do that. I share a story behind that. And I say, if you'd like to know more, reach out to me. The person that reaches out to me aligns with that. And I have a much more rejection-free environment than if I'm just going to all my friends and family, like, hey, you want to try to lose weight program? You want to try to, that doesn't really get as far as just letting the people who want what you have come to you.
I can relate to that. You lose a lot of friends, especially if you switch companies every few months. And I've seen that, and people have been coming to me all the time. Frustrating, very frustrating.
Yeah.
How does a newbie who doesn't have that story, how the new health and fitness helped their life, or this lotion helped something, or whatever, how does a newbie have a story to tell when they're pretty much not confident enough and still learning about the products themselves?
Yeah. Well, one of the biggest things that I think newbies should do is, let's say if it is a weight loss, take us on the journey that you're going on, right? I mean, nobody is saying that you have to have already lost the weight in order for it to work, right? What we're saying is, I believe the product is gonna work. Why? Because I bought it, right? I signed up to it. It's something I made a decision to buy it for myself. You're gonna have to make a decision for yourself, but the way I'm going to help you to make a decision is I'm gonna take you on the journey with me, right? And then you start showing, what you're doing, how you're preparing, what's your day look like. And when I say your day, I don't mean like your whole day, but I mean as it relates to your weight loss. So in the morning, do you make a weight loss drink? Do you do something with supplements? And if you do, what is that? Do you put it in there and shake it up? Okay, if you do, show that to us and go on about your day. Then you come back home that evening, and what are you doing then? If you're working out, show us, right? Oh, I'm at the gym, or just got done running, or I'm riding my bike, right? It's those little actions along the journey that you're sharing. And ultimately over time, Joseph, what happens is now you've got 15, 20 days of a journey that you've been on. And maybe every once a week you show the scale, right? And you take the measurements, and people see the transformation right before their eyes. That will sell your weight loss product, okay? Very, very easily if you're brand new, okay? Another thing that a newbie could do is they could leverage other people's stories, right? So maybe they're a little uncomfortable about sharing their journey, but could you share somebody else's journey who's not as apprehensive about sharing what's going on outwardly, right? So I've always learned that facts tell and stories sell. Okay, so those would be two great ways that newbies could hit the street, hit the ground running.
Those are some really good points. And I remember as a newbie myself, when I mentioned earlier, I find something I get excited about, and then something else will come out like, ooh, I should try this, or ooh, I should try that. How do you know which product or service is best for you to promote? Well, what's the secret to getting involved in the right company?
Well, I actually go through a couple of, it's evaluation, really. Think of it like this. If you were going to buy a commercial building, you wouldn't just say, oh, that building looks nice, here you go, right? Because it's in your budget. You don't just do that. There's criteria, I would hope, that you would want to check off of your list, right? So in our industry, in my industry, one of those things is the company, right? What it's like the pillars, right? Well, what's the company like? What's the ownership, right? How stable is the company? What's the vision of the owners, right? Do they have an exit strategy? Are they in this because it's a passion, or are they in this only to make a bunch of money through, sales distribution, through network marketing, and then sell it to somebody else, right? And they don't care what happens after it. Those things are very, very important, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people will just buy a business to sell a business, which that's fine. That's business. You buy low and sell high, whatever it is, right? So yeah, so there's nothing wrong with it. It's just you need to know if that's what's happening so that you can align yourself appropriately if you choose to do that, okay? With owners that plan to buy and sell. So corporate is one pillar, all right? Another pillar of evaluation would be the product itself, okay? So is this a viable product, something that is in demand and something that people are willing to pay for, even if they are not going to sell it to others, right? In other words, can you have true customers, right? Now, if the product to me I can't see how it's going to sustain without it just requiring a bunch of people that are going to sell it, then I can't do it, right? Because I don't want to do that. I want something where I can actually build something where I have true customers. And then as I recruit different people that want to help us build an organization, that's fine. But all of us collectively still have solid customer bases, right? That are buying every month. So product. And I would also say the actual pricing, right? Pricing of product is important. Some people are like, oh my goodness, network marketing companies, they overcharge and you could buy it at Costco or Walmart.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, right? I'm not even going to be upset. Sometimes you can do that. But I have to evaluate that. I have to look and see whether or not that's the case. The quality of the products and things of this sort. That usually comes from trying samples, right? Or just kind of also doing some research on it, background on it, things of that sort. And then I would say the last thing would be like the compensation, right? Okay, so how am I get paid? At the end of the day, how much of a cut? If I sell this, how much do I make, right? And do I have leverage? If I help other people become successful, are there any incentives to help really build other leaders, right, in the compensation plan? Is there some type of bonus structure? Are there types of, appreciation or gifts, or, when you hit certain levels or certain ranks, right, recognition of some sort, like what exists in that realm? Is there a true residual, right? Is it true residual, or is it kind of like, oh, we'll give you the money up front, right? You're going to make $100 when you make this sale, but when that customer orders next month, then you're only going to get 50 cents, right? Like, well, wait. So it's important because I need to know, is it a recruit heavy business, or is it a true customer where I'm going to be able to maintain a residual over time business? So company, product itself, pricing of product, and compensation plan would be my main pillars that I'm looking for in terms of evaluating a company to join.
Those are really good points, especially the one you don't know what the residual is going to be from month to month. Because the bottom line is, it's our name. It's our face. We're the one making the contact with the customers, potential business partners. How do you ensure, how do you build your brand? Let's go there. How do you build your brand where you are trustworthy in the marketplace, wherever you're talking about? So what's some of your secrets?
I think your brand, this is what a brand is, the way I've learned what a brand is, right? Then we can talk about how to build one. But what a brand is essentially the way that someone feels after they've come into contact with you. Okay, that's the brand. The colors, the logo, the flyer, the banner, right? The clothes, the photo shoot, the music, the car, whatever, right? The background, mansion. That's not the brand. Okay, because you could have all that, and when someone comes into contact with you, if they feel like they suck after coming into contact with you, and you were the one that made them feel that way, that fancy car and that mansion in the background isn't going to change how they feel, okay? So the brand is how someone feels after they've come into contact with you, all right? So when we talk about building that is from, in my opinion, a place of authenticity, right? So who are you already, right? Now, once we identify who you are, now we can try to extract the highlights of your characteristics or your personality, what have you, and we can display those to the marketplace. But who are you and what purpose do you feel that you serve, right? And building that is as simple as you being yourself every day, going out, interacting with your market in that authentic way, right? That's how you build it. If you're being you, you're going to build a successful brand, right? If the brand is something that people want. Now, if you're just the a-hole all the time, right? Maybe you won't, but it depends, right? Because if you're somebody like Jordan Belfort, right? People know from what Leonardo DiCaprio played him in. What was the name of the movie? Shoot. You know what I'm talking about. I think in a second. But he was the one doing brokering a lot of the stock deals, right? And ended up going to jail for some time. But Jordan Belfort was an a-hole, but it worked for his line of business because the young people that came into that firm to learn how to make money as stockbrokers, they enjoyed, he made them feel like they could make as much money that he was making, right? So they didn't have a problem with the a-hole type of attitude because that was the aggressive type nature of that particular field. And if you didn't have that, you could probably get eaten alive, okay? If you're servicing people with products for, their skin, you probably have to have a more softer angle.
Probably.
Right? Like you can't be the a-hole about it. So if you have a brand, a nature, a natural way of being that is more aggressive in sorts, then you have to be mindful of the type of products that you sell and market, because the people that want those products and services have to feel a type of way before they buy. And if you don't make them feel that way, they won't buy from you.
That's a really good
They'll buy it, it's not from you.
Well, that's true, because you have, thousands of Amway distributors, thousands of Herbalife distributors, thousands of everything out there. And how do you differentiate yourself from neighbor across the street selling the same product you do? You have to stand out in one way or another. And I think, like you said, you don't want to be an a-hole, but you want to show the transition, how the products or services are working best for you. Have you ever had that situation where a neighbor or maybe a best friend is doing the same thing you're doing, and how do you have a friendly competition? How do you do that?
Yeah, like my sister and I, we're in the same company, right? And we're not, she joined the company before I did. The irony with the same person that introduced it to her, introduced it to me, right? So out of integrity, we're both signed up with our other good friend, right? And so my sister and I, we're not connected in the business. So, I just have a different style than she has. I have a different branding than she has. I have a different way that I approach my group, my team, my marketing. So I can't even say it's really competition, because the people that would align with me probably would not be attracted to her. Vice versa. The people that she would attract probably would not be attracted to me, right? So the thing is, the uniqueness that we have in terms of our individuality is what allows us to go out and build the business in a way that works best for us. And because we're different, we build the business different, right? I'm more of an internet person. She is more of a belly to belly, go to the location, sit down, talk to people. She's that person. I'm not that person. I hate that. So if I had to build it like her, I would be miserable, right? If she has to build it like me, which I've tried to teach her some stuff, she's miserable. So we just do our own thing.
I love that. I never thought of it that way. We all market a little differently, and then we try different things to find out what fits us best. And it may be totally different than we expected before. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I know you just lost your husband a couple months ago, your ex-husband.
Yeah.
And our condolences for you. What if, I'm assuming it was a supportive spouse, but a lot of us get involved in network marketing or almost any business, and we don't have that support from our spouse. How do you deal with that?
Well, in my case, when I stopped doing because we had our real estate company together, okay? So for a while, he was upset. He was upset that he felt like I abandoned the business and he was doing it by himself and this. But I had to explain that I just didn't have a passion for it anymore, right? I'm going to still support him in it. I'm not trying to convince him to stop doing that, right? Because he loved doing it, but I wanted to do this. So after we got past that little part, he didn't care. Like, he was an entrepreneur mindset, right? He had an entrepreneur mind. So he didn't really care what it was that I did, as long as A, I enjoyed doing it, right? B, I was making money doing it. And C, it was legal, moral, and ethical, okay? Because that was just important. We like it on this side of the thing.
Right on.
That's why we made the changes in the real estate business, right? We weren't willing to go down the deep end with some of the scrupulous things people were doing because we liked being free. So when I started in network marketing, he was very, very supportive of it. So I haven't had the experience. And then even when he and I split up, I mean, I've never dated or anyone that hasn't been. Now, with that said, I've had team members and colleagues where, as you mentioned, they didn't have that dynamic at home. Okay. Right. And so in reference to helping them, what I've always seen work, Joseph, always seen work, okay, 10 out of 10 times, you go out and produce and you start making money, they will come around. They will come around, okay? It's when you are moseying around, you're not really that serious, you start, you stop, you start, you stop, you join this company, you're excited, 30 minutes later, you're on another presentation, nope, you're more excited about this one, the compensation plan gives you $10 more per month, so, that is really why you're doing this one, it's that. Your spouse usually witnesses your behavior, right? Sure. So it's not even the company. A lot of times it's not even the business itself or the model. It's a lot of times your spouse is counting you out, okay? Because they believe that if you treat this like you treat everything else, it's gonna be a bust, okay? So what happens is the way that you handle an unsupportive spouse is to decide that you're going to make this thing work with or without his or her support, okay? Because it's what you see, it's your vision, it's your life, it's your goals. You see something in this that maybe your spouse does not see yet. So if you can stay true to that through the criticism, right? Through the whatever it is that's going to arguments or whatever may spew at home, if you can remain consistent, what you're really doing is you are now retraining your spouse to see you differently, right? And when they see you differently, your stick-to-itness, your tenacity, you're not giving up, you're tapping into the trainings, you're doing the activities, you're actually marketing the business, right? You're doing those things, whereas before you didn't really do that. And now you're being recognized, you won an award, you achieved the first rank in the company, you got a commission, you're getting more commissions, you're going to the company event, you come back, you got a team, you're a leader now, like you're progressing through this thing. That is the only thing, Joseph, that I've seen take an unsupportive spouse to being a supportive spouse.
That's a good point. I think my first commission check was like $3 or something.
Yeah, and they're like, whoop-de-doo, right?
Yeah, right. It's hard to be supportive on that, but it goes up and up and comes down and goes up and up, just being steady and consistent in whatever we're doing. For someone.
But let me just say this. No, yeah. but that's entrepreneurship, right? That's not network marketing. That has nothing. It's entrepreneurship. And if you have a mind that understands that you have to invest time and money into something before you get a fruit of the labor, like you have to plant the rose bush first before you get roses. Most people do not understand, like, nor want to deal with the process of gestation, right? But everybody acknowledges it when a woman is pregnant. Nobody dares that child to be extracted from the womb before it's ready.
That's true.
Right? But in business, people don't want to let that idea, let it nourish, let it gestate, let it grow, let it form, let it mature. That is a patience level of having something that's unseen, that unseen to the outside world, but seen to you. And when you can hold true to that vision, knowing it's just a gestation process, as an entrepreneur in any business, then generally it's going to be okay. Now, if you have a spouse that is more employee mindset, then it doesn't matter what entrepreneurial venture it is, right? Because their thing is, but you didn't get a check on Friday. I need a check on Friday. Where's the money today, right? They can't.
That's tricky. I totally understand that, getting people to transition from employee mindset to entrepreneurship. And that's tough. We live in a society where everybody wants results now, today, yesterday. They want to, sign up and expecting $100 the next day. And that rarely happens. If it does, it's short-lived from what I found out. So how do we get people out of that mindset? And like you said, you got to have them think a gestation period takes time. There's no get-rich-quick schemes. Well, how do you get people out of that mindset that it might take a while to earn a few dollars?
Well, if they're ready to transition, right? Given the fact that a person wants to create or develop the entrepreneur mindset, then it's personal development, right? The books that you read, the audios that you listen to, the people that you surround yourself with. That is the only way you're going to be different, because the only reason you are the way you are right now is because of the books that you've read, the things you've listened to, and the people you've hung around. That's it. You've taken on mindsets and ideas from others that maybe you don't even realize are no longer congruent with who you want to be, right? So to be somebody else, and I don't mean superficially be somebody else, I mean to transition from employee mindset to entrepreneur mindset, that's being someone else, that is going to require you to be around people who think like entrepreneurs. Listen to people that share entrepreneurial concepts. Read books that entrepreneurs have written that can share strategy, techniques, lessons learned, journeys that they've taken, and you begin to embrace that mindset more so than the other, and begin to minimize as much interaction as you can with the mindset that you no longer want, and really kind of engage more aggressively in the mindset that you do want. So personal development, books, audios, and people.
Oh, I love that. No, that's very exciting. I actually hired a coach earlier this year, last year, and paid a little bit more money than I wanted to, but the results came because he said, basically wake up an hour early, get exercise, start reading, make sure your mindset. And it sure took a while, and I know these things, but sometimes we have to get a coach or mentor to kick us in the butt.
That's right.
Keep us on the straight and narrow. And I've had a little success in coaching people, and I know you have also. How important is it to get a coach, or is it necessary?
Well, I think it's very important to have a coach. Okay. Here's the thing though. A coach does not have to come in the form all the time as a one-on-one person that you work with, right? A coach could be you every day committing to listening to Jim Rohn on YouTube, right? A coach could be you listening to Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, 3 times a week, or before you go to bed in your headphones.
Great.
Right? A coach could be someone that is maybe a leader in your company that you watch and that you model, because on the weekly calls, they say something that you can implement into your business. So I think a coach is vital, but I also think people need to understand that it doesn't entail all the time hiring somebody or having to put a lot of cash flow out to acquire this coach. You could learn a lot from people if you look at the internet, right? Imagine.
That's true.
The internet. But some people are going to do even better if they're able to leverage a coach that's like, boom, right there on them, just like a personal trainer, right? Some people can go to the gym and they can do their workout and be fine on their own. Some people can get the video, the DVD, they can pop it in, they can watch it, it's fine. So you can get the YouTube video, stream it up through Apple TV, and follow the workout from the YouTube video. But some people are going to need that person in their face 5 more. No, give me another 4 more, right? I don't want to hear your whine and your complaining, right? Some people do need that. So you just have to identify what kind of person you are. A coach is needed regardless, but how you engage that coach can vary depending on who you are and what your needs are at that time.
Oh, I love that. I think I need both. I need the coach to call me, wake me up, say, turn on the video.
Right.
Whatever it is, we need accountability partners, probably the same thing, right?
Exactly. Accountability.
It was funny. After this event, I mentioned you when I was in Cancun with you and several other entrepreneurs years ago. I met someone there and we became accountability partners, kind of went in business together. He's from San Diego, but we worked differently. He could work to 2, 3, 4 in the morning and focused on something, and I couldn't. I couldn't keep up. But we had different personalities, and they complement each other in some ways, and other ways it didn't. And eventually, that didn't work out. That partnership didn't work out so well. But I think we both grew and learned from it. Was able to develop other things outside of there. So it's pretty exciting. So obviously being an entrepreneur, network marketing, brick and mortar, whatever it is, it gives us a different mindset and we think a little differently from most employee attitudes out there. What's in the future for Tracey Walker? Where are you going next? You have all these accomplishments and I'm not going to list them all, but what's your future look like? Where are you going to be in 5 years?
Oh my goodness! You know, I'm building another company now, and I'm excited, right? So it's not gonna take 5 years for this, but by mid next year, if that, right, I want to be at the top of that company, right? Period. So that's just that. There's a couple more ranks to go. So achieve the goal in the industry I'm in. I think that's really important. That so many times people want to like coach other people on how to do stuff. And it's okay, but at least have done the thing. You know what I'm saying? To a certain extent. Like, I'm not saying everybody that teaches somebody how to play basketball has to play in the NBA, right? I'm not saying you have to have attained that level, right? But at least have played it. at least have been in high school with it. At least play every week with your friends, right? At least help your kids out with it, right? At least something, at least know the rules, okay? So that if you're going to help somebody else to coach the high school team or the youth team, you bring that value to the table, okay? So same thing in this business too. I don't think everybody that wants to coach has to be the top earner in the company, but at least have done the business, at least know the fundamentals, at least know what works, what doesn't work, at least know processes, systems, right? Yeah, the basics, right? So for me, I'm just kind of like the overachiever person. So like, no, I want to hit the top of the company, right? I want to be the top earner person. But I like that because of the leverage, right? To be honest, the leverage, it's credible, right? It's like, listen, why should anybody listen to me? Sure. Well, it's not because I'm so great. It's not because I'm better than anybody else. It's not because I'm smarter or have more or anything like that. It's all I did was achieve a certain level of success in the thing that I'm seeking to help other people with, right? So I want to do that. I want to coach and help people in terms of entrepreneurship, right? Not necessarily network marketing, right? Because I've had different businesses, right? Different outlets to things. I have skills in real estate. I have skills in trading Forex. I have skills in network marketing. I have skills in internet marketing. There's different things, right? And I want to be able to expose people to these different roads, if you will, of entrepreneurship and leverage those skills to be able to do that on a massive, massive scale, right? So what are we talking about? We're talking about, I want to be in all-state arena, okay? And at 50,000 people, if they can go see Beyonce, I want them to come see me and my colleagues learn about self-sustainability, right? So that's what I want to do. I want to be in a stadium. I want 50,000 people. I want them all coming for the event that we're doing together collectively. And I want people to be excited to be there and learn because they want to take their life to a new level. Okay, so I want to do that. I want to write another book, right? I have a book that I wrote called The Ultimate Team Building Formula. I wrote it back when I was pregnant in 2013. The great news about that is it is an evergreen process because it's what works, right? So how I built my teams, I documented that. I want to write another book, right? I don't know exactly around what yet. Like that's more of like around strategy, maybe strategy, maybe journey, maybe something, I'm not really sure. But I want to write another book, and I really want, I published that book before, self-published that book. So I want to self-publish again or maybe get a deal. I don't know. But I wanted to just really expand. I want to reach way more people this time. I want to reach like millions and millions of people this time. I want my son is 6, right? I'm teaching him right now, how to think, not what to think, how to think, okay? And he asked me the other night, like literally last night, Joseph, he's like, hey, Mom, because he watches these YouTube videos, right? And the kids do skits. They do skits like the drive-through, like somebody's on a power wheel, and they create like a makeshift McDonald's drive-through window, right? And the kid comes through and they order from McDonald's, right? But it's not real McDonald's. So he's like, hey, Mom, when I get older, can I work at McDonald's, right? And I was like, dum dum dum. That would be no. Now, I'm not knocking people that work at McDonald's. I'm saying, for my son, right? No, that's not what we're gonna do, okay? If you'd like to own a franchise of McDonald's, we could definitely go that route, okay? If you like McDonald's from that standpoint. But no, you're not gonna be working at McDonald's, okay? You're not gonna be doing that, okay? Primarily, I don't even want you in touch with them because I don't want you eating the food, to be honest, right? We're more healthy type people, so I don't want you to own a place or be a franchise owner of a place that's like the opposite direction of what we do at home, right? So, but the point that I'm making is no, we're not gonna work at that place, right? Let's focus on how can you own or start another place, right, of your own. So I want to continue to groom my son to help maintain the legacy, right, that we're creating here, and him be my business partner. Like he's my business partner now, even though he's 6, but I really believe he'll be able to take some of the things that I've been teaching him, scale those things up, and run a very, very highly efficient and $100 million plus enterprise, right? That's the goal. So, and I just want to live my life free. You see this right here, like live life free.
Yeah, live life free. Live life free.
That's it. I just want to live my life free. That's what I want to do. Okay. I want to go where I want to go, when I want to go, with whom I want to go, and money or lack of money not dictate whether I go, right? Money is not my master, right? I control it. It does not control me. So that I just want to do that and go out and teach people, share people with the entrepreneur vision, help them craft things, enter into different business deals with people, and just really grow the empire and make sure my son picks up on all that.
I love that. I would definitely buy your next book and see you in a big stadium of that. Absolutely. Reserve some tickets.
That's right. I'm gonna print the tickets up now, and I'm gonna reserve them for you because that's the way you have to do, right? You have to act as if. I'm gonna get the tickets up.
I had a friend of mine, she has her own nonprofit, retired fire chief, pilot, a million things, a fellow Toastmaster with me. And she did a speech a year ago. And she talked about her nonprofit giving money to some charity. I don't even know what charity. But she wrote a check for $1 million. Now, it wasn't real. She had it in the bank, but she didn't put a date in there. But she wrote the $1 million and said, this is my goal, and I think in the next 5 years. And she's going to do it. She is going to do it. It's amazing how many of us are afraid to write that blank check because that's a real commitment. But
That's right.
yeah. And we all need to commit to something. Why not commit to something that's going to do good for other people?
That's right. You can see back there on my refrigerator, that big orange Post-it.
Yeah.
Like, that's my monthly financial goal, right? It's big as heck sitting on the front of the refrigerator. Like, if you could see the size of the paper, like, look how big that is, right? The orange.
Okay.
Right? So my son sees that every day, right? I have a couple of more over here in the living room of my house, right? And it's like, you have to write it down and make it plain, right? So I have a mentor that said to me, like, when I come to your house, am I only going to see where you've been, or am I going to also see where you're going?
Ooh.
Right? And because if I can't see where you're going, neither can you. Right? Like, oh, yeah, that kind of stinks. So everybody has pictures growing up, your kids, your wife, your husband, the family, the vacation, the photo shoot, the dog, everything you've already done. Where are the visuals of where you're going? Because that's all that matters.
Well, that's
right?
a great point because we can't rely on our past accomplishments. People don't care. I have 5
Not because you won a Super Bowl 10 years ago. So what? What are you doing today?
Yeah, exactly. So where are you going? I love those points of wisdom. Well, I appreciate you talking to our audience and sharing a little bit about your story. How can people find Tracey Walker right now if they want to reach out to you?
Yeah, well, the best place to interact and hang out with me is on Instagram over at official Tracey Walker. Official Tracey Walker on Instagram. And there, I got different posts on network marketing tips, on internet marketing tips for the moms out there. I'm a single mom. So how I'm doing this whole thing with a 6-year-old, by my side all the time. And even just information on how, you can enhance your own business and different tips and things like that in the bio. So official Tracey Walker on Instagram would be the numero uno place.
Thank you so much, Tracey. You heard that. The official Tracey Walker, nothing else, only the official one.
That's right, official Tracey Walker.
You're giving free tips and advice and recommendations and what she's worked for her and maybe what didn't work. I mean, we don't talk about that too much, but what's working now is what's really important. And we appreciate that. Well, audience, you've been listening to one of the entrepreneurs, one of the success stories, and there's so many out there. We need to find out what they're doing to make our lives better. But you've been in the office with Joseph Skoda. Please stay tuned for future episodes and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for everything. If you liked our show, you can find us on the platform, Instagram, of course, Facebook. Like, subscribe, share. We appreciate it. Let us know your thoughts and join our team. Anyways, we appreciate you staying tuned week after week, day after day, because we continuously build up our network to bring to you what you're asking for. Have a great day.